It's time. After breaking my hip in February by falling on black ice, you're walking around with the help of yes, my friends, you guessed it, walking around with the help of a walker. And then breaking my neck in September. And that's what happened to me early on day 4 of my beautiful ride on the Erie Canal Towpath Trail. I will be very happy to say goodbye to 2025. It's been a little over 10 weeks since I broke my neck, and the doctor gave me the okay to get back on my bike and take it slow. No downhill skiing this winter, but that's okay. So I'm here in Florida this week visiting with family. My daughter is nice enough to let me use her bike while I'm here. So I'm doing my 5-mile loop in Wickham Park and the neighborhoods here to get 10 miles in every day. It's a beautiful day this time of year in early December, so let's go for a bike ride. It's always interesting to get away from home and take a ride in an area where things are very foreign to you, like palm trees. We don't have those in Connecticut. In Connecticut, we have snow, and it started yesterday. If I didn't mention it, I'm here in Melbourne, Florida, and I always enjoy riding through the campground. Campgrounds are all closed where I live, so time goes by and we deal with what's thrown at us. I had my 2 accidents. I'm sure many of you have had your own challenges this year, but all we can do is look forward and keep up our strength and keep up our stamina. I found that I've lost a lot of my strength this year, but I'm working to get it back, and I will get it back. And come springtime, I'll be as good as new. I'm looking forward to having some good weather soon back in Connecticut so I can take my flat bar retrofit of my Jameis bicycle. I'm going to take that for a ride. I took it out on my street and put less than a half a mile on it before I left, just to get a feel for how the setup is, and I was very happy. It seemed comfortable, but the proof will be when I do 20-30 miles on it, make some fine-tune adjustments. So when I looked at that bike the other day, I got to thinking about my bicycle history and what I've ridden over the years. So it all started out when I was about 8 years old, and my mom and dad took me to Montgomery Ward's and bought me a 26-inch Hawthorne single-speed bicycle that I believe it went for about $28, $29. I rode that bicycle for many years, used it to deliver the New London Day newspaper. It was an afternoon paper, and I think I had about 30 customers. I put 2 baskets on the back of the bike. Then one day, my mother took me to the local library, and of course, I wanted to find a book on bicycles. So I found this book, and I saw these strange pictures of these guys racing bicycles with these funny-looking drop-down handlebars. And it was the Tour de France, I believe. So being a very impressionable young child at the time, I think I was 9 or 10 by then, I said, I need one of those. So I did a little research, and I found that Schwinn made one. It was called a Schwinn Varsity. I saved up my paper route money until I got $66, and my mom took me over to the Key and Bicycle Shop in Groton, and we picked up the Schwinn Varsity with drop-down handlebars. Boy, did I love that bike. I rode that thing all over. Back in those days, we didn't wear helmets. Didn't have any mishaps with it, thank goodness. Kept that bike till I was 16, and then I got my driver's license. Lost interest in riding bicycles for a while. But when I started riding again, I was probably almost 20 years old. I bought a Raleigh Supercourse TT, and that was a lighter bike, and it had what was called tubular tires. That's what the TT stood for. If you're not familiar with tubular tires, they're also called sew-ups. And it was the tire and the tube was one complete package. And the tube was actually encased in the tire and the tire was sewn closed so the tube would not pop out. So then you took that tire and you glued it or you taped it to your rim. Had special rims, and this is what all the racers used back in those days. So I had to have it. And theoretically, if you were to have a flat tire, you could cut the threads away, pull the tube out, repair it, shove them back in, and sew it back up. Therefore, they were also referred to as sew-ups. I said theoretically, and that's because, you know, it was a big job. You're out on a ride and you're going to start getting a needle and thread out and sewing your tube back into your tire. So I always carried a spare. So I love that Raleigh. I believe I took that on my first Century ride. Rode it from my apartment in Groton, Connecticut, up to Boston. A few years went by and then I bought a Fuji Opus 3. I still have that bike. I have it hanging in my garage. It's kind of like a museum piece. Guess it's worth some money, but I take it out every now and then and ride it, but not very far or very fast anymore because it's a 1986. And I'm afraid that the thing may just fall apart. Then back in 2013, I discovered carbon bicycles and I bought a Kestrel Custom Legend. That's a fast bike. I still take it out every now and then. Love that bike. It's lightweight and it's got 23 millimeter tires on it that you can put about 90 pounds of air in, so you don't have much of a tire patch touching the asphalt, and that thing really screams. Then just before I retired, I bought my Jamis Renegade Elite. Not only is it a carbon frame, but it can also act as a light touring bike. You can put 25 pounds of stuff on the back and 25 pounds of stuff on the front. So after I retired, that's the bike that I took from Key West to Canada. So that made for an excellent touring bike, and I really enjoyed riding that for 60, 70 miles a day. It's also the bike that I just did the retrofit to put on flat bars. Then a couple of years went by and I discovered the Priority 600X and was intrigued by that pinion gearbox. And so I purchased that and I really enjoy it. The only thing about that Priority is it's heavy. It makes for a great touring bike if you're touring by yourself and don't mind averaging about 10 miles an hour on a fully loaded touring bike. The gearing makes it extremely comfortable, and the upright position of that bike really impressed me. And that's really what led me to take my Jamis and convert it. So we'll see how the Jamis does when I take it out for a ride and see if it will also make a viable touring bike. That bike only weighs about 21 pounds. So that's just about it for my ride. I've done about 10.5 miles. And by the time I get back there, it'll be about 12 miles. So that's pretty good for the first time I'm out on a bike since I broke my neck. And I'm recuperating fine. Everything's going well. And I hope everything's going well for you too. Let me know what your first bikes were, what your bike history was. I'm interested in really finding out. So thanks a lot for watching this short video. Have yourself a great day. And as always, happy pedaling.